Hey listeners, today's episode is potentially sensitive. If conversations about pregnancies, hospitals, nurses, or blood are triggering for you, we ask that you do not listen in advance. For any new listeners, once again, we remind you that we do not speak on behalf of the Gloucestercast, Good Morning Gloucester, or another podcast under the Good Morning Gloucester umbrella that no longer exists, aka the Homiecast. Enjoy the show!
Good morning, Gloucester. Time for Alicia Unleashed. Talking about what's going on in these streets. Alicia Unleashed with Jess.
Good morning, Gloucester. This is Alicia Unleashed. This is episode 85. This is amazing. 85?
Yeah.
I legit thought it was 87 or 88 by now.
Well, we just talked about that. There's a few that,
That didn't make it.
Lost episodes.
So lost episodes. My mind gets lost and not too sure. And
I don't even have those anymore. I don't even have those records. I think they're on your computer, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Oh, you know what? Don't we have a bloopers section of the Dropbox?
I think so.
Yeah. Something like that.
Anyway.
Yeah. So tonight we're here with B-Side.
What up?
And our special guest, which we will get into in a little bit. That's Jess Argentino.
Hi.
So, and she's like, I have no idea. She's probably scared shitless at this point.
But she did lead on to something, though, and we'll unpack that in a little bit when we get to her. Because I heard
she
that.
A secret
Don't
listener?
think... I think she is.
I think she is.
I heard that
she
when
said something, and I was like, wait, you listen? Oh, what? Oh, okay.
Well, there we go.
Or she was just doing her homework. Yeah.
Unlike the rest of our guests. No offense. I love you all, but,
So going into the hot plate, run around, it's having a cruise next Thursday out of Salem.
Yes. So they are doing it out of...
August 23rd, by the way.
Yep, August 23rd, Pier 23, out of the with the Mahi Mahi cruise.
Wait, with Pier 23?
No, not Pier 23 Kitchen.
No, with Pier 23, the band?
No, it's actual Pier 23 out of
Salem. There's way too many Pier 23s.
There's a lot of piers.
Yeah, there's a lot of piers.
We kind of live in a coastal region.
Oh, you know what I was thinking? Pier Ave, which I'm just thinking out loud right now.
All right.
But Chris from Seaport is with Pier Ave. I'll show you the picture. That's who we need to get on at some point in life. But yes. Okay, never mind. We have too many piers happening. Okay, so run around 7:30, August 23rd. Keep going.
I'm attending. I'm also trying to network.
Perfect. I cannot make it that night.
I know you can't. But I'm going. I was like, ooh, this is going to be my second boat of the week. Yeah, let's do it. Because, gotta be...
Why, where else are you going this week?
I am going on the GHS hockey fundraiser tomorrow night out of Captain Bill's.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And who are you going with that one?
Bethany, who is an author who is best friends with Cindy Tarantino, now Fletcher, congratulations. Who Bethany will join us sometime in the winter, because we didn't get her this winter, but she is an author, or she organizes author, Bethany, my former babysitter.
Yeah.
But we are going to support my first employer, Dawn's son, Jacob, who is a hockey player and football player and lacrosse player.
Oh, so the all-around American boy.
You.
Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So there's a lot going on in your life.
Yeah, and I'm on a cornhole league.
I know. When's that happening?
So every Tuesday night in Raleigh, and
you've been going to Raleigh every Tuesday night?
Since this Tuesday, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And there is a cornhole tournament next Saturday at the mile marker at 3 p.m. for the Alzheimer's awareness. Put on, sponsored by the Ipswich Bay Cornhole League. It's $25 per person, so it's $50 a team, and you just throw the bag around. It's I think you're at least guaranteed 3 games.
Yep.
And, there's that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yay.
Mm-hmm.
Go cornhole.
I gotta do something. I need a new sport.
You need something.
Yeah, I really do. I really do.
So also, we never want to forget these moments that we sometimes forget, but
It's kind of our thing. We should just forget it just because.
I know, but we can't.
I know.
Not this one. So today, rest in peace, Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
So we know that she has been battling for quite some time, and even last week, and saying this is it, going into hospice, so forth. Yeah, and so today, social media is flooded today.
Oh.
There's no way in life that you could have missed this. Even if we thought no. There's no way in life we could have missed this today.
I wanted to be so salty and be like, get your playlist out, because everybody and their uncle's playing every song.
Everyone.
But not every one of those hits, but not those other ones. Because the other day, I posted on my Instagram story because it just came up on my iPod, and I'm like, oh, I like this jam. And, I just was like, Lord save the Queen, But, I think her family had even said to the media the other day that they were hopeful that she would come out of this. But it's like...
No, it's been a while.
It has been a while, but
Yeah.
there are people that hold out for quite some time.
Right.
Like, my aunt, she fought for a very long time.
Right.
And so when everyone was like, oh, I'm so sorry about your aunt, I'm like, she is so much better.
Right.
Better place, no longer in pain. So
Right. So
it's tough.
Of course, on social media, everyone is posting their favorite song or posting to, I posted to Pete as well because I just, everything about her, like, just icon, just so iconic and so amazing. And she was the first woman to be indicted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a lot of boundaries that she broke, and she was just amazing. Only 76. I thought she was older, to be honest. I was like, let me just see how old she was. I honestly thought she was in her 80s, but I was like, oh, okay, so she was young. Young in our world. But yeah. So, and she's our opener tonight.
She's our closer.
Oh, our closer.
Our opener is the special disclaimer. I felt like it was, I felt that it was disrespectful to our disclaimer to have that as, that goes into it.
All right. So, I heard your opener, and it's just fucking funny shit, dude.
Well, some parts of it's funny.
No, some part. Yeah, the last part was very funny.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I thoroughly appreciated it.
Shade has been thrown. Come at me, bro.
So, anything else on the hot plate?
Yeah, we're taking a hiatus.
Yeah, I have a lot going on
You
in
do?
my life right now. I'm starting school full time, and just a lot of stuff going on in September, October, and thereforth. So, we'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
We've done this before, where we have been. They're not even by choice. This is kind of by choice because I have a lot going on. It was just because of scheduling reasons and whatever before. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Bridget runs the Facebook. Let's be honest.
Yeah, so you can definitely keep an eye on the Facebook page. That's not going anywhere. If someone that I've been working with to get on the podcast is like, hey, I've got this available, I'm going to do everything in my power to get Alicia, and if not, I'm like, oh, this is a tough call. What do I do? What do I do now?
Yeah, no, I'll probably be able to do stuff. It's just not going to be like we've been on a regular basis and everything like that. So,
you also got a kid going to college, in the next 2 weeks.
And a kid in high school that's going to be in my district.
Yes.
So Tyler got into Whittier, which is amazing. But that means he's in my district, my care, 5 days a week. And figuring out how we can bus him to his father. Otherwise...
Oh, that's a shit show.
Seriously. There's a lot into it, which is, the really great thing is that, his dad works in Ipswich, Topsfield area, like where you are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
we're neighbors. We see each other at Market Basket.
Exactly, and that's exactly where the Whittier bus goes.
It's very disturbing.
So, he can, go with Chris, go home with Chris in the Whittier bus, and then he has me as well. But I'm his primary, right? So, I have to make sure he can get to and from. And it's really weird and funny, but this is the first time Tyler has ever taken the yellow bus in his life. He's a freshman in high school. Because lived right over here on Friend Street. I'm not a fan of paying for your child to take the yellow bus. And here in Gloucester, you need to pay for your child to take the yellow bus. And I refuse to pay hundreds of dollars a year when I can just go ahead and just drive him down the street. Why are you looking at me puzzled?
It's just another reason why I don't have children.
So, at Whittier,
just adding that to the list.
I don't have to pay to have Tyler take the bus to high school. It's amazing.
They're expensive.
It's amazing.
I wonder why I had to walk fucking everywhere when I was a kid.
Well, when we were kids, you didn't pay to fucking take the yellow school bus. You just couldn't take it if you lived less than 2 miles away or something like that. So, but at Whittier, this is like literally like his first time ever taking buses, have to figure out bus in what route and the number.
Whoa.
I mean, it's going to be pretty big.
But
pretty
you know
big
what,
shit.
though? This is going to be a life lesson because wherever he goes after this for like college and life, public transit, man, I'm telling you.
That's it.
I'm going on a trip in October and everyone's like, oh, are you going to rent a car? I'm like, nah. Like, how are you going to get around? I'm like, the public transit is amazing where I'm going. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, when you come from here and then you go other places, you're like, I can take the bus and the subway and the whatever, anywhere I want to go.
I'm taking BART, man. I've got my whole schedule lined up. I am set. There's also Uber, but I'm hoping that I'm just going to, when it gets closer to October, I'm going to be like, yo, my flight lands at this time. Who's taking me to brunch? Let's go.
Right.
Because the best part about having lived in California for 9 years is Lydia and Liz don't have to entertain me. It's like, oh, cool. We'll leave you a key in a certain place. I won't tell you exactly where it is, or I'm not going to say it on the air right now. But, you know how to get into the house, and we're going to be at work, and then we'll catch you later after work. So I will be like hit up everybody, go get my pho, because that's the first thing I do when I get into town, and then just start my vacation. Can't wait. Oh my god, I can't wait. I'm so ready.
Yeah.
I'm already ready. I'm like, wait.
And that's not even that far away now.
No, it's
really
not.
that close.
I can't fucking wait.
It's amazing. So we're just going to get to it.
Let's go.
So we have Jess Argentino here.
Yeah.
And you haven't seen anything. Literally.
I didn't know, like Hot Plate was like...
Oh no, it's not a thing.
Jump in.
I was not, I wasn't sure. I didn't want to...
No, you're cool to jump in.
I was just drinking it all in. It's pretty cool to watch you guys do what you do.
That's pretty fun.
And also, shout out to Tuki, because your dog, Bridget, she's amazing.
Yeah, she
awesome.
acts like her internal monologue is fucking Sarah McLachlan's angel right now. To every stranger, she acts like she's one of those ASPCA animals. I'm like, don't even fall for it, because she is the most spoiled animal I've ever seen. I mean, if she could fit in a purse, which she can't, she would. She's so spoiled by my mother. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
She's spoiled by our new next door neighbor, who, her and her dog and my dog are probably in love. She brings her ice creams, like dog ice creams. It's ridiculous.
Girl.
That's funny.
Yeah, she's so spoiled. So don't think like she's like underprivileged or anything like that.
Underprivileged.
That damn dog eats better than I do. Yeah. Although I will say our accoutrements tonight are real good.
Yeah, they're pretty.
And don't worry, we have more wine, so it's chilling.
That's what needs to be happening. Don't worry about it. That's what needs to be happening.
I gotta pace myself now.
No. So, Jess, you're a nurse.
I am.
And let's just take it from the basics.
And we're not going to say which hospital, just for purposes.
We're not going to say which hospital, and right now we're just going to keep it basic.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into it. But how long have you been a nurse?
11 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you start when you were like 11?
No, out of college, I went to a 4-year school for nursing.
Wait, you went to college and then nursing?
Yeah. Yeah.
So why? What'd you go to college for?
Nursing.
Okay, so hold on. Sometimes I know people will go to certain like classes or certificates for nursing, right? But so did you get your bachelor's of nursing?
Yes.
Right away.
Yeah. So
okay. So how did it work for you? How'd you do? What'd you do?
I went. Well, I knew before, and I knew I wanted to be a nurse for a long time. I mean, I went through this period, maybe around 12, that I was kind of dabbling in being a spy, but
Wait, at 12?
Yeah.
So you knew what you wanted to do. You're like, at 12, it was either nurse or a spy.
If nursing doesn't work out for you, can you and I be spies together?
Yeah,
Oh my God,
I was like,
amazing.
I was really into like reading books about the CIA and
Amazing.
stuff. But that was, but pretty much since high school, nursing was it. And so I just kind of went to a school that was known, for their nursing program, and that's what.
So what school did you go to? Was it Salem State?
Salem State, yeah.
Okay, all right. So then you did 4 years?
4 years.
So you graduate with your bachelor's in nursing?
Yep.
Okay,
So
awesome.
we take like, all the, I call them boring college classes, English, statistics, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
But then we also do the clinicals, and, the junior, senior year of college is 100% like focused on nursing. So.
Okay, so then you graduate with your bachelor's in nursing, and then what happens?
Then you have to take the board. So just because you have a degree in nursing, your BSN, doesn't mean you can practice. You have to pass a state board. So Massachusetts has their own boards. California, Florida.
Right.
Some states kind of have a consortium of sorts where if you pass, it's kind of, you can go between states. But once you pass your boards, like Massachusetts and Rhode Island, they you can exchange between the two states.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you need to apply for a license, which is just basically money and a piece of paper. But if you pass your boards in Massachusetts, you can practice in a few other states or in New England. So my first job was actually in Rhode Island. So
really,
yeah.
Why?
Yeah, so, I worked in Providence. It's a hospital that is focused on women and infants. It's actually the name of the hospital. So,
that's fine. That's fine. You're not there now. It's fine.
But it's.
I'm sure you Google both.
Yeah. I mean, basically, if you know me in Gloucester,
you know where you work.
But it's fine. So they have a huge NICU. It's funny because in Providence, in Rhode Island, it's a teeny little state, but their NICU is one of the largest in the country. It's like the 7th largest in the country. At least when I worked there. I don't know.
That's ironic.
Yeah. But it's basically, the hospital is just all labor and delivery, and then they focus on some kind of women's health issues, oncology things, but then they have just this giant NICU. It's 80 beds, and it's huge. So to support that, they have a giant new grad program. So for new graduate nurses that have passed their boards, if you're hired, you get into a program, and it's classroom time and clinical time, and it's like a 6-month program where they teach you how to be a NICU nurse. So I moved my butt down there because that's what I wanted to do.
So, so you went to school. So is it like in, I would say, regular college, right?
Yeah.
You're graduating with this bachelor's, and then you can kind of decide where you want to go from there. But in nursing, how does that work? Like, do you already know what you want to do in those 4 years that you're in there, or do you decide when you get out, or how does that work?
Some people don't. Some people will start in like a med-surg kind of basic hospital floor that has kind of everything to kind of get exposure and figure out what they want. I knew like starting college. Like
You knew what you wanted
I
to
wanted
do?
to be a pediatric nurse, and then it kind of
okay.
honed into NICU and neonatal.
And why did you hone into that? If you started with pediatric, what happened for you to want to do that?
I loved PD, and I worked on a PD floor as a nurse's aide, like through college, and it was great. But I loved the how specialized and how challenging it was. You have to know every calculation down to milligrams and even more, and every a millimeter could mean the difference between the IV being in, the breathing tube being in, all of these little things, and you have to know. It's such a specific field.
Yes.
But then, I mean, just to break you, I get to work with babies, and they're amazing, amazing little humans, and so resilient, and just my mind is blown like on a weekly basis at like.
Wow.
Just
The fact that you decided that that's where you wanted to go and like that's where you wanted to specialize is pretty amazing.
It's like I knew it was going to be a place I could maximize and challenge my brain and my heart. Like I know that sounds super cheesy, but if you know,
it does not. No.
But like I could love and like I don't know, be challenged every single day.
So why did you want to be a nurse? Was it to like what was your thought process? Like
Because the spy thing didn't work out.
Right. Well,
it's not like for a work-life balance. It's not that great, but it's genetic. I come from a long line of nurses. So on the very basic level, it's amazing for your work-life balance, like to raise a family and do what you got to do and make the money you got to do it is great. But I even as a kid, I was like obsessed with baby dolls and caring for them. I mean, it's just I love to care for people even when I'm not at work. It's just part of who I am. So it's the most natural thing.
So did you need a special certification or a special anything to be in, because now you're in NICU. So is there anything extra that you need to do to get into that?
No, I mean, they don't, unless there's like a new grad program, they don't usually just kind of hire completely inexperienced nurses.
Oh, wow.
But some programs do, and you don't. So they just want an experienced nurse, or unless you come from like a program or something like that.
Right.
But there's further certifications you can go on to get. I have my NICU certification, so I'm a certified NICU nurse, which isn't necessarily required. It's just kind of like level up.
Right. Right.
It's you have to take another boards and another test to kind of prove proves you're an expert at your field. So there's different exams you can take and certifications you can get in like all different areas of nursing. So this is what I've done for forever. So it's my passion. So I was just kept going with it.
So you've been a NICU nurse for 11 years.
Yes. There was a brief time, a couple years, I worked at Children's Hospital in their cardiac unit. So that was mainly babies, because when you're born with a cardiac defect, that's an immediate issue. So they follow you for forever. Once you're followed by children's cardiac team, I took care of a few adults even, which was kind of trippy since I'm used to little tiny babies. But the staff always got a good laugh when I had to take care of a 44-year-old.
Because you can't, and this is kind of a weird thing, but from what I understand about babies that I don't have, there are people that always sniff babies, like moms that sniff babies. So I can't imagine that you wanted to sniff a 44-year-old cardiac person.
No.
So, do you do that with babies? Like, you're like, oh, I just want to sniff their head. Do you have that thing? Or is it like old hat for you at this point? You're like,
a little bit. I mean, it's more like you do build a bond, because on the unit, a lot of babies stay for a period of time, and you build a bond with parents and the actual baby. And it's a very professional environment, so we're not like loving up on the babies, but we're just like,
yeah.
Oh, you're so close.
Yeah, you're so close. Yeah, you're just like, I love you.
It's hard to not love a baby.
Yeah, but like little nuggles, you just let them sit like on your shoulder and in your neck, and just give them a little extra.
Well, the babies feel your energy.
Right.
And they know if you're just, if you're there for them, then
I have
that
deep
baby
conversations
feels it.
with them. I mean,
yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, what's a typical day for you? Like, what does your day look like? So, first of all, what shift do you work?
So it's a night. So that's
you work night.
Yeah.
Are you overnight?
Yep, 7 to 7.
Oh,
so
shut
12
up.
hour. Yeah.
Dude, you haven't got rank yet, or you can get first shift, or what?
To be honest, it's come up, and I probably could have, but I love night shifts.
Really?
I mean,
isn't that like the busiest time?
It depends.
Was all the
really
babies like to
depends.
come, be up at night and not sleep during the day?
It depends. But I like outside of work, it's a good balance for me being home and around for my son during the day. But I love the vibe at night. It's a lot of times just the nurses and the patients, and we kind of, it's like we rule it, and
right.
It's scary sometimes because you don't have as many resources that are around. So
right.
The team you work with on nights, like, we build a really strong bond because you're looking around, and if something goes down, it might be you and 2 other nurses and a doctor, and that's it. And you gotta really be able to hold your own. But we have a lot of fun too. It's after hours, and you're trying to stay up all night with, you get to know people really well.
Of course.
You spend time with somebody at 4 o'clock in the morning, you know them. You
yeah.
know?
How many years have you been working overnights?
Pretty much all 11 years, except
what?
when I worked at Children's, it was rotating, so it was 50-50.
Right.
So,
wow. And how you said you had a son?
Yeah.
And how old is he?
He's 4.
So, how does that work?
because when I moved home, everyone was pregnant. My sister-in-law was pregnant. I moved home, and they were like, and Sean, our friend Sean, was like, hey, we're going to go to Jess's house for
You
New
brought
Year's.
such a good bottle of wine. And I was like, can't drink it!
I was like, oh my god, I haven't seen you in 9 years.
Yeah.
Hello. Here's all of my wine collection.
Yeah. I was still excited about it.
She's like, oh my god, thank you.
I had
She's
to
like,
wait.
I can't drink it right now. And I was like, is that a sonogram on your shelf right there?
Mm.
She's like, yeah.
Surprise.
I haven't really told anyone.
Yeah.
Damn it. I'm so sorry.
I know.
That's funny.
But yeah, so pretty much all of my friends have 4-year-olds, and Liam is 4
Wow.
as well. Yeah.
It's a good
All
year. Yeah.
Yeah. 2013 was,
Yeah.
or 2012 was a happening year for
Big,
people.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
mine
yeah.
are 18 and 14, so. Yeah.
But yeah, he's adorable too. I've seen photos ever since, she would always post photos, and she has the most massive dog on the planet, and I want to come to the
kind of
house
dog?
and just snuggle with him and just.
Yeah. He's a lab shepherd mix, but he
Holy
looks
shit.
much like a black lab, but he's
Yeah.
got floofier.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
You know?
Wow.
Um,
My shirt a lot?
Yeah, but we have dark floors and
Yeah.
a navy couch. I just I guess.
And how old is
see
he?
it, doesn't matter.
And how old is he now?
He is 8.5.
Wow.
Oh, he's our furry baby. But
Yeah.
Yeah. Love him.
So what does a typical shift look like for you? If you're doing 7 to 7, what happens when you get there and when you leave?
So,
You're
You started as,
this is so
breakfast.
typical. I don't even know what to say.
You started I start my work at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
and I go to 4, so I eat my breakfast at 7
Yeah.
when I get to work.
Yeah.
Then there's lunch,
Yeah.
and then there's an afternoon snack before I come home for dinner. How does
Yeah.
that work for you? How's your eating schedule?
Yeah.
Do you walk in and just are there days where it's just like chaos is happening?
Yeah, I mean, there's much to say about the night shift too, where like it's just a different vibe. So, I mean, certainly if there's an emergency going on, it's like all bets are off. But we just come in and we're just not as excitable because we're just like, yo, we're gonna handle this. It's fine.
Right.
It's
different.
It's fine.
So you're the chill. You're the chill crew.
Yeah. So when we come in,
chiller crew.
like the people that work 3 to 11, they notice like when we come in, it's like, ooh, bring it down.
Oh, good.
Bring it down.
Okay.
We turn the lights down. It's like,
Oh yeah.
you know, visiting-
You're the crew that turns the lights down. Yeah.
Visiting
the
hours
moonlight
are
crew.
over. Let's bring it down. But and that's on a typical day. Obviously, if there's issues, it's a little different. But we come in at 7. Our unit likes to, we call it run the board. There's on the wall we have the list of patients, and it's just like kind of brief, like this is what's going on. This is like need to know.
Yeah.
So like just the hot spots, hot plate,
Hot
if
plate.
you will. We do
Look at you.
And,
There's our hot plate. She got it.
so then you see your assignment, and we. The nurse that we're getting report from, we go bedside to bedside. It's kind of like a new hot thing in healthcare in general, is bedside reporting, kind of getting the patients' families involved so everyone's on the same page, which is a good thing. So report what's going on, what you need to do. And then in my unit, the babies eat on a schedule. I mean, anybody tries to get a baby on a schedule, but we're we kind of run it like clockwork because you're managing a lot of babies. They can't all just. Can't be a free for all.
How many babies are in the NICU at a time?
It's a small unit, so we can have up to 16
Wow.
if there's twins or triplets. But our census sometimes can be as low as like 2. Depending.
Is there a quota on nurses for babies?
Yeah, so it's typically 3 to 1.
Okay.
Depending on the acuity. So if a baby is a little bit sicker or a brand new baby that we're kind of keeping our eye on, it might be 2 to 1, and then the sick babies are 1 to 1. So it kind of it fluctuates depending on how many babies we have and how sick they are. So
okay.
Now, when a baby comes into the world, I was going to say comes on board.
yeah,
Because I don't know what the terms are. Because never been there before.
Yeah.
Now, say you're the nurse on duty when the baby comes into the world. Now, say you're there. Say the baby comes directly, 8:30 at night.
Uh-huh.
Are you with that baby pretty much all night? Like you're with that family all throughout the night, or do you besides also checking on other patients? Is that pretty much considered your family? Or do other nurses take over or whatnot?
If the baby's admitted into my unit, then we'll follow. Like if I'm admitted, the baby, I follow the baby for the rest of the shift. If not every baby that's born, we won't attend every delivery. It's just the high risk or anything with issues or concerns, we'll attend. And not every delivery we attend, the baby needs to come to us. So we're kind of just there as the backup.
They'll actually put you guys in a delivery if they think that it needs NICU.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow. So you've seen a lot of deliveries?
Yeah. So every C-section, there has to be one of us in attendance, and anything if any kind of concerns or there's a lot that qualifies us just to be in the room, but we try to kind of hang back unless it's needed.
So you guys actually have to be in a room just in case it's needed, not necessarily that they came to you.
Right. So it gets kind of wild too if there's a lot of deliveries that we have to attend, and you have a 3-baby assignment that you're trying to feed the baby and be with the parents and educate them and kind of run the place, but then you're called to a delivery, and some of them are we get a heads up. Sometimes it's
because
just
if they're scheduled, then you get a heads up.
Yeah, but sometimes we get a call help now run, and
For like emergency
yeah, and then that's
stuff like
that's when the team comes and you like into play, and you might be, I might be running to a delivery, but I know somebody, one of the nurses that I left behind, has my back and is looking out for my patients and running the ship. So, so even though we all have our individual assignments, we kind of all, which is why the hot plate is so important.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm going to start that. I'm going to change the name.
Do it.
Board round sounds like so boring. It's called the hot plate.
Tell all your coworkers about this podcast. They're like, what are you doing, Jess?
But yeah.
Like, no, you gotta listen
what
to
is
this episode.
happening?
I totally understand what I'm talking about.
So
I didn't have my moment with the hot plate. This is my moment. Let it happen.
Yeah. There are times when it's like the same people, like that if you're working all weekend, you're giving a report to the same people. We've all been there all weekend. So like by Sunday night, we're like, do we have to do this? Like the hot plate. We know it's all the same babies. It's all the same nurses. Let's just get
right.
Now,
Do you have
sorry. So if you are assigned, if you're assigned a patient on like a Friday, and you come back on Saturday, do you get that same patient, or does it swap? Is it sometimes because you know it, because you know their situation? I'm only referencing it because let's just say that there's someone in my life that might go into the hospital every February.
Yeah.
That the nurses get to know them.
Yeah.
And there's a solid chance that she gets to see them every day, and they're like, "Hey, how you doing today?"
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was just wondering if that's how that works in other places besides older people.
Yeah. They try to keep the continuity because it is important. You get a rapport with the family. You get to know the little nuances with each baby. I mean, every baby is so different, even if they're kind of.
And you also kind of know, like, if they come on to the ward, or you're the one that, I hate to say, like, accepts them in or enters them into the system, you kind of know what's going on with them as well, and you're working through it. It's kind of like, I don't even want to reference this, is so un-PC, and I apologize for anyone that's listening that's in the, but like, it's, if like someone was to come into my department and start trying to do inventory, it's like, don't touch my stuff. Yeah. This is, you don't know what you're doing. Yeah. Get off
a
my
little territorial sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, got this. But again, if it's helpful and needed because you're pulled somewhere else, that's like
also
totally
helpful.
Cool.
Cross-training.
But sometimes, depending on the needs of the unit, if we are really slow, or there's like we have a new person that we're training, or there's just it's very fluid how things have to work, so you kind of have to be flexible. So even if you're back to back 12-hour shifts, you might not get that same assignment based on like the good of the entire unit, what's going on, where you're best served. Typically the continuity is where you're best served and taking care of the patients that but I've kind of moved my way up the ranks a little bit, so I do charge a lot of times, and it's you kind of have to be flexible and know that sometimes you have to go and do something else to kind of help, and give up an assignment because it's more appropriate for another nurse to have or something like that. It's
right.
But
So in your many years, what is kind of one of your happiest or success stories of NICU?
What is one of your better moments?
Yes, I mean, because they all come in for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I know. So what is one of the most positive experiences that you've had?
There's like,
you're like, oh my god, I can't think of
like it's
I didn't read these notes that Bridget sent me. I wasn't ready for this.
No, I do. I did my homework. I really did. I was like super fangirling about this, so I was very excited and prepared. But it's just, I have a couple examples, but it doesn't even like touch the tip of the iceberg of like how many, because there's a lot, because there's one and this is just like the last year. I'm just gonna pick from the last year, because if you go dig
no
deep,
one knows
like,
who you're talking about. One knows anything.
No.
Just anything
but,
that's
but there was a baby that was, we were expected to attend a delivery, just kind of that protocol. They were kind of concerned, but it wasn't like a definite, this baby would absolutely come and be admitted. But when the baby came out, it was like evident right away that the baby needed a lot of surgical intervention, and it was very, 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 very sick, like right off the bat. And it was totally unexpected by the OB team, our team. Like it was just kind of, and that happens sometimes. It's just this is put in front of you, and the 2 nurses I was working with and the doctor, and like we all, I mean, this baby's okay, and I don't want to get into too many, like, keep it light, whatever, but
don't want to get into too many terms.
This baby went
like
down really fast,
yeah.
And it was just one of those days that, in the worst circumstances, it was one of the best day, like,
situation.
It was the people that were on and how we worked together. We didn't even have to talk almost. It was just everything.
Right. That's amazing to have that type of team.
And we still recall that all the time. And that doctor that comes on when the 3 of us are on, she's like, it's my A team.
That's my dream team. So that's it. Dream team right there.
It was really, I mean, I've worked in more critical units where there's really, really, really sick babies, but in those, like, at Children's Hospital, you have everything at your fingertips. You have world-renowned doctors, surgeons, every kind of medical equipment. Like, so you, like, to save a baby there, it's like, not that it's easy, but you have all the resources, and you're not alone. You have a fleet of people, and but when you're in a smaller unit and there's 2 other nurses and a doctor, and not as many resources as that. And you have an outcome like that. I mean, that was a huge moment in my career. Just like that, like you could do that.
So can I ask you a question? So it's the 2. So it's the doctor, you, and 2 other nurses.
Typically, depends.
So
on
the 2 other nurses are also NICU nurses.
Yeah.
Okay. So does that mean there's also the actual like OBGYN?
Yeah. So
and nurses for actual pregnancy.
Yeah.
So there's like probably like 6 or 7 other people, or like 4 other people in the room besides you 4.
Well,
is that right?
I mean, at a delivery, it's just 1 nurse and a doctor for the baby, and then there's like the OBGYN and like the
because I've never had to be in the room
and
for
like
all
the
of that.
labor nurses. So it's like the team mom and team baby kind of. We all work together, but like team baby only comes if they're worried.
Right.
So so team baby. So all right, I'll ask off air because this.
You can put this into terms that you don't know.
No, because I only have the experience. The only time I've ever been so close to a freshly born baby was last year when my sister-in-law had my niece. Mm-hmm. And the only reason why I was even there instead of getting a text message, guess who's here 3 days later? Yeah. Sorry, Monica. I said it. Was because my niece was in Florida and I was on emergency TT time with the 4-year-old or the 3-year-old at the time. So we went into the room and there she is, like little tiny peanut, and it was like all these nurses focusing on her, but then there was also these other nurses focusing on mom, and I'm like, there's a lot of people in here. Yeah. What is happening? There's a lot of people. So I was just trying to figure out like if there was a situation where it had to be, if it was larger than your team, would the other team step in, or how would that have
so the labor team is trained to kind of
if needed,
like in newborn resuscitation, everybody has to have the same. It's like the basic CPR kind of training, but there's it's a little bit more like level. But for newborns, and so they're trained in that. But if we're anticipating that it's going to go down big, then we'll have 2 nurses on, and then we can call for backup, and our team will kind of come down. And but if it's unexpected, then the labor nurses are amazing, and they step in with all.
Just listening to you describe like your best moment, I was like, going to ask about this because now it's going to bug me if I don't ask her right now. And I don't, I'm just going to ask. Just going to do it right now.
I have another one. It's, like, on the lighter side, just because, like, you know, the sick babies are, you know, not, it's hard to hear.
We put a disclaimer on here.
But this baby was just born a few weeks early and just needed to be, you know, loved and grown and, you know, taught how to live his life, you know, outside the womb. So he was with our unit for about a month. So we got to know the parents and everything. And it was a baby that I got to take care of, like, on a regular basis. Just the continuity kind of played well. It was just, I was able to kind of follow his journey from start to finish, and it was his 1 month birthday, and you know, if you've been on Facebook, you see, like, everybody's like 1 month photos, and there's, like, super cute things, the stickers, the blocks, whatever, but it was a big deal. And so I was on, and the unit was really busy. We were maxed. We had no room in the inn, and it was kind of a crazy day, but his parents were trying to figure out. They had a sheet that had, like, the 1 through 12, and then you, like, circle which, like, month it is, and you lay the baby down, and they were like, the dad was kind of holding it up, and the mom was trying to, like, and they were trying to figure it out, and I was like, we're gonna do this because this is important. This is, like, poor baby has been here for a month, and, like, this is where, like, his life shouldn't start after he goes home. Like, his life, he's been living his life. Let's we got to document this. And so I got a bunch of blankets from the maternity floor and laid a bunch of, so it was, like, padded on the floor. I moved furniture, and there's, like, crazy stuff going on, and, like, we're up on, like, this stool, like, and we laid him down, and I hid his wires so he kind of, you know, didn't have to be, like, hooked. And then, like, for a couple pictures, I was like, okay, we're gonna just disconnect him real quick, and, like, so he had his, like, his toes are free, and it was just like he took, and we just captured this moment, and it's just, like, so, I mean, it's such a basic thing, but it's, like, so
it's not
important
basic
because
at all.
Huge. That's a huge
because it's like these babies
Right.
shouldn't be, like, not able to have all the experiences.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's in a different way, but it's just, that's one of, you know, it's like the art and the science of nursing is, like, you know, there's, like, that moment where it was just, like, love, but then the other one was, like, it was using every inch of my brain, you know, to save a baby.
Right.
And you can experience that in, like...
But it's also the psychological aspect of the parents, too.
Yeah.
He's obviously probably won't remember this, but he'll see the photos when he grows up. But for those parents, that meant everything in the world.
Yeah.
You know? And you also have to play a role in that, too. Have you ever met or seen any of the children that you've brought into the world or helped bring into the world?
I mean, there's, you know, I'm fortunate. There's some close friends of mine that have had babies in the unit, and so I get to watch them every day. And but every year we have a reunion,
nice.
which is great. So the babies born that year will come back, and we get to see them and, like, how well they're doing. We get Christmas cards from, like, so many graduates, and that's, like, the best thing. We hang them all over the nurses station, like, wallpaper, and it's just so awesome to, like, remember and see them grow. And it's and you know, we keep in touch with certain families, you know, you connect with and everything, and that's awesome.
How long do they typically stay in the unit?
It
depends.
It really depends, because a baby we're just watching for an infection but is doing well might only stay 24 hours. But a baby that was born early might stay a month, 6 weeks. And then there's babies that are born very prematurely, like, you know, 23, 24 weeks.
Wow.
That will, you know, we stabilize and transfer to a Boston hospital where they can kind of get that constant, you know, like, higher level care, with all the resources, and but they'll come back to us once they're a little bit more stable, and so that you know, we've celebrated quite a few babies, like, 100 day, like, they're 100 days old, so that's
Wow.
That's over 3 months. I mean, that's a long haul for the parents and for the baby. But we try to make those moments a little, take the edge off of that. And we make crowns, and I've made little, I'm like a crafter, so I do little scrapbook pictures, and twins that came back to us. They weren't super premature, but they needed to spend some time in town, and they came back, and I made a little scrapbook of like our first road trip. Made it like a scrapbook page. Like, we took the bus, the ambulance, all the way back. And then I made like little graduation caps and stuff for babies that have been with us for a long time that are graduating. So and like tubby, first tub and stuff. Like just trying to capture those moments for babies.
Kind of normalize.
Yeah, because they do. They live there. So that's we try to make it homey and make it a little bit easier,
less sterile.
Right, exactly.
Make it less sterile and fluorescent.
Yeah. Right
is the word.
Are there other nurses like you? Because you seem to, you're passionate about what you do.
I kind of just wanted to hang out with my mom.
Right. Like, you're amazing, and you're very passionate, and you love what you do, and it's apparent, and if everyone could see her face, you could see it light up, and, things like that. So, is that the typical, what's happening in life?
I think that people go into nursing for a lot of reasons. I think a large majority, it is a passion. When you say, I'm a nurse, you're not describing your job, you're describing yourself. This is through and through who I am, and it's not when I'm at work, it's like I'm a nurse sitting here,
Right, right.
So I think most nurses do feel that way.
That's very much like my sister. So my sister's a nurse, and she's going for her bachelor's in nursing right now. She should be done very quickly.
Cool.
But she specializes in nutrition, and also eventually, at first, she wanted to be geriatrics, right? Mm-hmm. Interesting. But in general, that's what she is. She's a nurse, right? Yeah. So she can be like, oh, that artery and that. I mean, she takes it that is who she is. Like, exactly what you just said. That's who she is. If she was here next to you, oh my God, forget about it. Both of you would be like going back and forth, like, oh my God, whoa. Yeah. They're so passionate
when
about
Nurses Month or Nurses Week comes back, we'll have a round table.
Shit.
Oh,
Can you imagine her and Celia together?
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Really, oh my God, seriously, Celia is just,
but it's
so
another
so
reason why I also asked you to come on too is, for nurses it's different than like, oh, you're a nurse. It's like, oh, I broke my leg, can you fix it? It's, you're a different field. Mm-hmm. You're a specific field. It's completely different. It's just like any other job. It's just like any doctor. It's like, I'm a doctor, but I'm a doctor of this. I'm a nurse of that.
There's so many different
things.
Right.
I also find your job very fascinating because there's a lot of people I know that have babies. Yeah. A lot of people. And I feel like you don't really hear about your side and what you do. Yeah. So, I was like, hey, Jess, do you want to come and talk about your job?
Yeah.
And I'm blown away about, everything that you talked about. And, I mean, I've known you for 15 years, so not to say that I haven't known your husband for a lot longer, but, kind of. But, I met you when I was 21. I was like, wait.
Well,
I love him. I do. But I was just like, and then I was like, oh my God, she's the most adorable thing on planet. And so,
I am known on my unit as the unicorn, or Rainbow Bright. I mean, I do there's people that are very passionate that I work with, but I bring an extra another level.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, some people love it, and some
she's
people
just like Celia.
Yeah.
But when you talk to my sister is the same passion. She's just all into it. Yeah. She's all in all the time, and no matter what.
But it's just the energy that she's radiating. I can feel it from here.
Right? No, absolutely.
And I'm just and it's not the sugar talking because I'm just like, it is just pure
It's
her.
not even the wine. I'm having so much fun chatting with you guys. I haven't even finished my glass. Just this.
Good.
Yeah.
So there's obviously to every job there's obviously a depressing side, and I don't want to get into it, but
There needs to be an understanding.
but-
It's a part of it. you
yeah,
know?
it's a part of it. So what, like, how do you bounce back from days, and like, what was your worst day that you were like, I don't think I can do this anymore?
Or
Have you even had those days where like you're like, fuck this shit, I can't
Yeah.
even do this anymore. Like, this is
Yeah.
Pretty
I
sure she's
really
never said
can't.
fuck this shit. Maybe she has.
Not out loud.
Listen, I say what people think, so
There's
there
been-
we go.
There's been a handful of occasions I've walked into the nurse's station and I'm like, well, you know what, guys?
Today's my last day.
I'm gonna go work at Petco and be a dog groomer because this is a lot. So there's difficulties on one side of things where everyone's going through a lot in the situation when they have a baby in the NICU, and it's not anybody's best day, and so there's like that added stress, and having it your child, it pushes you beyond the limits of what you can kind of wrap your head around. So that being said, there's been trying times with in a very few amount of times, but where it's really difficult to cope with the parents because they're almost kind of fighting against what you're trying to accomplish, and we just want to make a baby well and feel good, and
Right.
that's what we do. And
Right.
there's a lot of parents that Google. It's like, I could get on my soapbox for days, but
About
I won't.
And they
Google.
do it in the hallway.
yeah,
I'm
but,
sure they do it in the hallway.
So that's hard when when it's you really get in a difficult situation with a parent because they
Right.
have rights, but we also know we are doing what we're
While your
trying-
parents Googling and thinking that they know better than you and telling you that you need to do something? Is that basically
Yeah,
it?
and like I said, it's nobody's best moment when they're going through this like traumatic event. But there's like parents that are disrespectful, parents that are threatening, parents like
They're probably in life or death situations.
Exactly, yeah.
They're in
Right.
an elevated moment
right.
of stress.
And
Right.
so we just have to kind of eat it, lean into it, and support them as much as we can. But that's hard when you're also trying to do 50,000 other things in your head. And we do
Right.
it, and that's part of the job. But that's not.
That's another
not-
thing that's impressive
that's not
about
the
you
fun part of
is
the
that
job.
you can take. I don't want to say take that,
Yeah,
but you
but
take
do,
that
yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
negative energy
Yeah.
or that kind of
Yeah.
force field, and you're also trying to process: is that cord plugged in, or is that done?
Yeah.
Is that machine hooked up? What what bags or whatever is being hooked? Like, I
Yeah.
would be like, peace out, I'm out.
Right.
And at 4:00 in the morning, you're just like, okay, bring it. It's adrenaline that kind of gets you through.
Right.
But,
Right.
and then, like on the other side of things, there's just the sad,
Sad
hard
moments.
hard days where I remember there was a shift a year or two ago, and we had a baby born very early, and was able to stabilize that baby, but it took everything in all of us to do that, and the baby
Right.
was able to be transferred out. But then, like you kind of said with your dispatcher friend, it's like then we go back to work and we take care of all the other babies.
I know, it's so crazy.
And
So
then
you don't
I was
do,
li-
you
yeah.
don't get to, do you get to do brief at all
We
when there's
do,
situations?
We do if there's time. I mean, but if we're trying to get everything put back together, sometimes it's like a couple days later. Sometimes it's right after it happens. Sometimes it's at the end of the shift. It kind of depends on how crazy the day is. But then, at the end of that, so the baby just transferred out like some kind of like 2:00 in the morning, and so we still kind of had the rest of our shift, and we pulled ourselves up, leaned into it, and did what we had to do for the rest of our patients. And then I was literally at the time clock about to swipe out, and they called another code. And it's just like you just have to you just have to find it. You just have to do it and
Right.
go and run, and it's you know, when you're toast. So and then I don't want to get into
So why do babies transfer out? Like, so are there times when you've ever lost babies in your care, like from birth to you can't transfer out soon enough?
She was not trying to get there. Hello,
No.
she was trying to skirt that.
I know, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's your job,
Yeah.
right? You're a NICU nurse, and
yeah.
you are dealing with the best and the worst at the same time.
Yeah. So
How often? But
it's
and how
very
often do you
rare,
see
like,
that?
So it's rare at the hospital I'm at.
Okay.
That we're usually able to stabilize the baby, and
Okay.
There's been outcomes where we know it's like we're stabilizing the baby where there's nothing that can be done. 'Cause
Right,
sometimes
right.
things happen before the baby's even born, but
Right.
we've been able to stabilize a baby enough to give the family time to say
Okay,
goodbye. But that
okay.
is typically done at a hospital in town, because they have a lot of like the MRI and the
Okay.
neurology consults that can kind of confirm
Okay.
or like more
Right,
studies that
right.
to make those tough calls.
Right. Right.
There is a baby that they did not qualify to transfer out. It
Okay.
didn't pass on my time, but I was part of the attempt to stabilize. And
Okay.
that, I gotta tell you, I had nightmares. Just that I I knew I did everything right, and
Right,
it was
right.
actually one of the best run scenarios. Everything was locked. It was everything.
Right,
Everyone
right.
was on point. Everybody did everything right. Even it was everything right. But you go toe to toe with God sometimes.
Right.
You can't win every time.
Right.
So,
Right.
but I still had nightmares about did I do we do CPR, it's in our blood, we know
Right.
there, we do it right, but there was I woke up trying to be did I do it, did I do
Right.
everything, and
Did I
just,
short
just
that
night,
breath
I
just
just
by
and you just
Yeah.
kind of, and it fades, you learn there's a place you put it in your deep down, and you just it stays with you, and it
Yeah.
builds who you are and how you take care of patients and what as you go further, but it's it's always there.
Yeah.
And then certainly on the cardiac unit, that was a different story. I mean, there's a lot of
There's a lot of
Right.
babies that.
but
struggle.
so I have a big place in my heart for a lot of that. But you don't ever get over it, but it's just a part of you, and you kind of absorb it in a way. It's not buried. It's just
It takes a special person to be able to look at anyone, to be honest, hooked up to tubes or have, any medical procedure to be done to them, and you deal with this on a daily basis with infants.
Mm-hmm.
It blows my mind. You're special.
Thank you. It's funny though, because
Yeah.
people say that a lot. How can you do this? And
Right.
I get nervous around adults. I draw labs on a teeny tiny 3-pound baby, and that's that's fine. And then if once in a great while, depending on staffing needs, they they'll need us to help out on the maternity unit. And they give us very basic, stable patients that don't really need much and are just having a beautiful beginning with a baby, and they're good. But if they need their labs drawn, I'm always finding another nurse that works on it. And I was what can I do for you? And they're I
really know how to do really
you draw
little
teeny
bitty
tiny
babies.
veins. This mom has giant veins.
Yeah, exactly.
Hogan,
Compared to what you do.
And it's just it makes me more I'm more nervous.
That's
with
so
adults
That is
than,
funny.
than with it, but it's just what I feel
Right.
you
You're like, I can find a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
But don't
Don't mind the haystack. I can't find that. Like I don't want to deal with that.
But that pipe, I'm too scared to hit. You know? Like,
Oh my god, that's funny.
no, I know. But it's just what you know, I guess.
That's funny.
And what I love, so it just, yeah.
So what do you do outside of, work besides, being with your son and your family and whatnot to kind of separate your work from, like, your home life? Like, do you do anything to kind of distract yourself
Hobbies.
or...
No, I'm laughing because, like, nurses tend to, like, stick together. So I have a lot of friends that are nurses, and we just have, like, and after a crazy shift, then there's a couple friends that you just call, and you're just like, I'm gonna rage, and you're just gonna need to listen, and it's, because it's hard to try to explain that
Right.
like
Someone
tough
that doesn't
situations.
understand.
Even my
Yeah.
husband, he's very supportive of me, but he's like, you did the best you could,
Right.
and I'm like,
You don't get it, right?
so so that still, even though it's like you're back in it with the nurse world, it's like it's such a huge support. Even like my mom's a nurse, I talk to her, and some of my closest friends, so we kind of vent to each other with that. But I mean, I'm a pretty simple girl, and I like to just walk around my neighborhood with my dog.
And you just started running, too, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, you could qualify that, yeah. No, I've done a couple 5Ks now.
Wait, whoa.
Yeah.
Just a couple.
I've done a couple of 5Ks. Maybe you could say I'm a runner. Are you fucking serious? Dude,
Well,
I can't even, like, run down the street. If I could run a 5K, I think that is a fucking
Listen,
huge accomplishment.
Unless I'm chasing a junkie,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not running.
So what, like, that's, like, this, like, don't downplay that. That's a pretty huge thing.
I mean, like, I guess, yeah, because...
Like, did you just one day decide, you know what, I'm just gonna run a 5K? Or
so-
did you train? Like, what's that?
Well, I mean, in May, I couldn't run a mile. Like, I was not...
Okay, so
like,
this is an accomplishment.
I've never ever played sports or anything. Like, I
Okay.
was not a sport person ever, even in high school and nothing. I was hardcore nerd. So, with no, even like tangible, like coordination skills I don't have. Like, I'm more interpersonal, kind of skill, like intangible stuff, but no. But another great thing about nursing is the camaraderie and like the support. So on our unit, some of the doctors and nurses are avid runners, and
Right.
they're some of my favorite people. And they were like, "You can do that!" Like, so Fiesta 5K,
Was that your first one?
That was my first one. Yeah.
Awesome. But
and-
did you train before? Like, how do you just get up and start running?
Well, so I was super embarrassed because I'm not a runner. So I was like, I'm going to run with my dog, because then if I can't run, I'm just going to be like, oh, I'm just walking my dog.
Did you literally just start running that day?
No, not at the...
Okay,
no.
so how did you prep for it beforehand?
Well, there's the Couch to 5K
Yeah,
app that
so
I
you
kind
did
of
that.
loosely followed.
Okay.
I just kind of would like jog with my dog.
Did Bear be like, what's happening? What are we doing?
Bear was like, what? We're running? And so he would be dragging me in the beginning, but then because he's 8.5, then I'd be like dragging him at the end. So we were kind of well matched, but he poops like, I don't know, like 3 times a mile.
Tukey does the same thing
My
when she
God.
smells
And so
something.
I'm
She's
like-
like, ooh, shiny.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
there's nothing more awkward than running with like multiple poop bags. It's, I don't know. I was like, yeah, so I kind of got a little bit more better at it, I guess, so I could run a little bit further. So then I just started doing it like earlier in the morning, and like nobody's around, and
Right.
I don't know, and just built up to it. I'm gonna run down the street, and I'm gonna run a little bit further, run here.
Okay.
So
right.
any chances of you running with Kevin and D-Row next year in the Boston?
Oh no, but Kevin is, yeah, he's pushing me. He's like, pretty soon, and I was like, no. But yeah, no, he ran the Fiesta 5K too, and it was cool. I mean, so it loops around, so like I was like starting the loop and he was like coming back on the loop, but we had like this cool like we like high-five each other.
I'm just getting
and
there,
I was
but
like,
hey.
I know one of those
Did that
bus
fucker
guys.
wear his goddamn Boston Marathon medal while he was running
Oh my
the
gosh.
Fiesta
He
5K?
should've.
And been
No,
like,
I know.
hey,
No,
I'm here.
I know.
Hi, how you doing?
But
15 minutes, I'm good.
yeah.
Thanks.
But yeah, he's an awesome resource because he's like teaches me a little
Yeah.
tricks and tricks. I'm slow though.
See, I did my research on you too.
Look at that! I know. It's out there. It's out there.
It's true. I was like, has she always been a runner?
No.
Did I know this?
No, and I mean, I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm hanging with the cool kids. It's just like, because there's a group from work that's running the Chicago Marathon, and
Oh, that's
so they're
cool.
all
Wow.
training. So they go like, oh, we're just gonna do like 16 miles, and I'm like, oh. Yeah, but they also do like to do these.
I wish people could see your face when you did that. It was the most adorable
You're
thing
like-
on the planet.
But they also like to do these little 5Ks. I mean, they're a big deal to me, but like, so it's fun to kind of have a group that we, that's very supportive and, encouraging. And we're doing, like, a lot of the breweries have fun runs.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, there's beer and pretzels afterwards. Like, yeah. So, I mean, that's motivation.
Those are the runs I'm like, wait, you get rewarded with
Yeah.
booze at the end?
Yeah.
That sounds alright, but you know.
But to bring it serious a little bit, I'm not a super serious person, but like, I love night shift, and the science is out there. That'll kill you faster than like anything. I mean, it is brutal on your body. So, being like, getting into my 30s, I'm like, if I want to do this,
Wait, getting to your 30s?
No, I'm in my 30s.
Oh, you're
I'm
in
34.
Your...
I just,
Oh, yeah, getting to your 30s. Well,
no,
'cause-
getting into it. Like,
Okay, because not for nothing, you don't look 34. You
Oh.
definitely look like you're still in your 20s.
Oh, thanks.
So that totally made sense.
So,
I'm trying to do the math here. I'm like,
Oh,
wait a minute.
Bridget doesn't
No.
believe it.
no.
No, because when I was leaving for California, and I have video, and it's on VHS,
Oh, spit your wine out now.
and it was probably the last basement New Year's, and I was like, I was like, Jess, when do you turn
This girl
20?
has more dirt on me than
Yeah.
you ever know.
Nah,
That's not easy.
I promised a lot of people that I would never show it. As much as I tried, I was like, I can't do that to people now.
Maybe a private showing, Adam.
Private showing.
I'm willing to do that, but as I'm getting older, I'm like, yeah, Bridge, I don't want to relive that anymore. Don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Thanks. But I was like, Jess, when do you turn 21? And you're like, and you say your birthday, and you're like, look at someone's drink, and you're like, and start drinking it, and it was like, I think it was like a Smirnoff Ice or something like that. We used to drink the most nastiest shit on the planet. So wait, I was like, I was only 22 when you were 20.
So she's not that much younger than you.
I was like, no, I have to be
yeah.
a lot older than that. But I'm 36, so
Yeah.
yeah.
She's
I was
not
like,
that much
because I was like,
older
no,
than
shit.
her.
We're getting deep in there,
I
deep
was
in
like,
the
she's
30s.
completely younger
Yeah.
than me. I was like,
No.
because I'm like, I met her when I was 21. Because I was doing the math on my drive home today. I was like, yeah, it's been 15 years. Because I was 21, and I know that for a specific reason. And I was like, yeah, 21. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was not 21. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
But
She was only 2 years younger.
statute of limitations.
Yeah.
is over.
Just only she was 19.
Yeah.
That's still old.
Hey,
I mean, it was in a responsible-ish
Mhm.
way. Right?
there was an adult there
Yeah.
somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I try to like to keep healthy, and I mean certainly it is what it is. I live my life. I'm not gonna I indulge in everything, but like should try to the basics of trying to fight literally losing brain cells from lack of sleep, which the studies are out there. So I try to
All right.
do be as healthy as I can because I like nights. It's cool, so I want to keep
Really?
doing it.
That's so crazy because I'm in bed till 9 o'clock at night and I have to have a full 8 hours. I really don't know what it would be like doing it overnight. I
It's
just
crazy.
don't know.
I mean, some
You
people
have
are
to
built
be in
for
a-
it.
But
some
you
people
adjust
aren't.
to it, right?
Yeah,
You-
I mean,
How long did it take you to kind of adjust to this and be
Lord.
like, oh,
I
okay.
don't know. I mean, I I've always, I don't know if it's genetic because my mom was a nurse too, but I
just
can kind of
used to her schedule.
sleep when I can run off not as much sleep, and I can sleep when I have to. Like a lot of people have a hard time sleeping during the day.
Yeah. I can't.
I mean, when it's humid and 90 and gross and like whatever, that's tough in the middle of the summer. But other than that, I mean, I can sleep pretty well.
So do you do 3 days? Like you work 12. So do you work 3 12s or?
I used to, but when I had my son, then I went part-time. So I do 2 12s a week, but I still have to do 3 in a row on my weekends. So tomorrow I'm going in Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
7 to 7?
Yeah. So it's that's.
And then does that rotate the weekends?
Yeah. So I was off this past weekend now. And
Okay, so every other weekend.
Typically, we're trying to move to every third weekend, but it's, you got to do what you got to do.
Okay, so you'll work 7 to 7, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
Then what will you have off after that?
Then I'm off Monday, which is a fake day off, because then I'm back Tuesday. So Monday, I'm like leaving work on Monday morning, because I work Sunday night.
Yes.
And then I have to come back Tuesday, so we call it a fake day off.
But Tuesday at night.
Yeah. So then, and then I'm off for another chunk because I got my 2 days in. So it's like Friday, Saturday are my 2 days, and then Sunday, Tuesday are my 2 days. And then I kind of had the rest of the week to be home with my son. And
so then you have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so it's kind of.
Oh, wow. That's
crazy. I'll pick up extra, overtime when I can. Like,
wow.
If the need is there, and
right.
If they send up a flare and stuff, I'm
because you have those days,
yeah,
so you can
so
say, "Yep, I can do that."
So it's worth it, you work,
totally.
You lose a whole weekend, and I do, working nights and weekends and holidays and stuff.
But you don't.
But then I'm home.
You do and you don't. I mean, you just said you can. So if you get off at 7 a.m., if you sleep for 3 hours, you one of those people who can sleep for 4 hours, get up, and then function for the rest of the day and night, and then sleep for another.
Yeah.
Like, I know people like that, and that's just weird to me because I cannot do that.
It's so like I'll get up tomorrow with my son like 7, and then I'm up for the day. I don't really have time to nap, so then I'm up for 24 hours for the first day, or a little bit more, because then the new shift comes in, day shift comes in at 7. You give report, hot plate,
I love it.
I want a picture. I need you to. I need you to post that on the Alicia Unleashed Facebook page.
Okay.
Just change it. It's like the NICU hot plate.
Yeah.
Like, I made it.
But yeah, so and I get home around 8:30, depending on like what's going on, and then there's like morning, like seeing the fam and whatever. So I'll lay down around 9. And sleep till like 1, and sometimes 2. So I'll get like the 5 hours, and then I'll be up and do a few things. But then I have to, you leave around like I'll leave around like 6:15 just to get it.
That's
to work,
crazy.
Just have time. So it's like you have like it's 12 hours technically, like because you do 7 to 7. But by the time you get home, it's like it's less than it's a little.
Right.
So you're trying to squeeze everything in. By Sunday night, it's just like robot mode. We're just like, at home anyways, you're just
right.
Kind of like, meh, food.
Now when your son gets older and he starts going to school, will you start picking up different shifts or anything like that?
Yeah, I think about it if like a day shift came up when he got to kindergarten and stuff. If I take it. Well, it's hard though because like I said, I do.
You like the night
survive and having to rely on yourself and your team and just there's no suits around.
Right.
It's just a little bit more unleashed.
But it's
I love her.
See what I did there?
She's amazing.
Oh, you woke up the cobra. Here she comes.
He's sliding across the floor.
She does this thing where her eyes get like they're slits, and she just looks like a cobra, like just waking up. Yeah, she's ridiculous. So we are at hour 19.
Holy shit! No, really?
We got good content.
Wow.
What do you have?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like this is a thing. We're
This is
good
what
content.
we do.
I might edit like a minute out
But
of
that's
it.
it. But really,
I know
really
exactly
not,
which
though.
minute it'll be. It'll be fine. It won't
Yeah.
be like other ones. It'll be great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, we can leave it at that or
No,
whatnot.
totally. We've gone through everything.
Jess,
we need
is there
to go.
anything that you want, because this is one of the questions that I think I sent to you, is there anything that you want the public or like people, listeners, to know about your job or about your team or about nurses in the NICU that we should have a better understanding besides all the content that you've already given us, which was amazing?
Yeah.
That you think that, like you said,
Yeah.
we talked about it just like the 911 dispatcher.
Yeah.
We don't, as general public, we don't understand what you guys go through.
Yeah.
So, obviously don't Google in the hallway. We get it. But, is there anything that we as people that just, observing you guys in general should know?
I mean, I guess it's just that, like, at least for me and for, almost everyone in my unit, like, we get it. It's the hardest day of your life and sometimes the hardest weeks and months. And, but we sacrifice a lot to be there for the babies. Like I said, I'm away from my family to be caring for your family, and I wouldn't do that if it wasn't what I loved to do, and I wasn't putting my 100% heart into it. So even though it's hard to see that sometimes because it's a really tough position to be in, just know that those nurses, that we are just loving and putting everything we can into it for their babies.
Right.
Okay.
Well said.
I know.
God, I'm gonna hook her up with Celia real quick.
I got
because she's
goosies.
just like Celia. Like her and Celia will be like, boom.
I got goosebumps, man. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. So thank you so much.
Oh my gosh,
for
thank you. You put
coming
on
and
a
speaking
great
with us.
spread.
Oh my
This
God.
was so much fun.
Oh, it's all Bridget, really.
Thank you.
Her wine, her spread, her house.
Yeah.
I'm just merely a guest.
What are you talking about? It's your name on the thing.
What she did, she said it so eloquently. So thank you so much. We are, episode 85.
Yeah.
Alicia Unleashed. We'll see you in the future
Whenever.
time. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you guys.
And out.
Yeah.
Peace.